Hey, welcome back to my channel. So, yeah, I am a little pissed off because my recording cut on me, and now I have to start from the beginning again. And, uh, man, anyway, enough about that. Before I begin, I'd like to, explain more on what Takeover magic or the Quirk deck is going to have. So, Takeover magic is a type of magic that allows the user to record and seal animals' appearances into his body. So, like in the last episode, I said I was giving Izuku like some sort of bestiary in his mind, a book of monsters. I should say. And so, this book isn't a little book; it's just like a cabinet where he keeps all his, monsters about their appearance and what they look like and their abilities. Yeah. And so, there are two aspects to this quirk. There's partial takeover and full body takeover. And so partial takeover allows the user to copy or to turn his arm into the arm or a part of the animal's body that he sealed in his, mind. So, and full body takeover is when Izuku takes on the full appearance of that beast or animal he's, sealed and recorded. So yeah, Um, I'm going to give Izuku, another, well, ability, but that's neither here or there. So you guys will see it in the next part or in the parts to come. So yeah, so we cut back to where we left off. Izuku and the mystery man are walking in the forest, and so Izuku looks at the man and asks him, "Where are we going?" And the man looks at Deku and says, "We're going to my hideout, kid. Someplace where we can lay low. And don't worry, I already called the authorities about your mom because we can't just leave her there." And Deku starts to look. Deku looks down, and because he's sad that he lost his mom, and he starts to tear up now. And the man looks at Deku and says, "Look, kid, if you're gonna start living with me, you're gonna have to cut this crybaby act. Sure, your mom is dead, but you at least survived. I know it's sad, but that is life. A life is taken every single day. There's nothing you can do about it. Life is unfair. So yeah. So let's go." And so while they're walking, Deku asks another question. He asks the man his age and his name. The man looks at the kid and says, "My name is Kojiro Kon, and I am 13 years." And yes, if some of you know, Kojiro is the villain from My Hero Academia Heroes Rising. He's the man with the Chimera quirk, the one with the wolf head, eagle hands, lizard tail, and black dreadlocks, and who always, puffs on a cigar. So yeah, and the reason why I said he's 13 years is because this is all before the events of Heroes Risings happen. Like this is way before that. Since in the movie, I think he's around Nine's age, like 24, I think. I'm just guessing. I'm gonna just say he was 24 in the movie and now he's about 13. 8 years older than Deku, since, mind you, Deku is still 5 years old. And so Deku says, "Oh, okay, my name's Izuku Midoriya." He says, "Nice to meet you, kid." And they walk off. A few hours later, they arrive to the hideout, which is a cave behind a waterfall. I must say, just for dramatic effect, behind a waterfall. And the man tells Deku to walk through the waterfall. And Deku hesitantly walks through and finds a small cave. And he says, "Oh, so this is where you live?" And the man says, "Well, yeah. Be- since, well, my quirk is called Chimera, it gives me the characteristics of different animals. And so I am ostracized and, frowned upon, or, was bullied for the way I look. And my parents abandoned me. And so now I live here." And Izuku looks down and says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to." And Kojiro says, "Don't worry about it, kid. Wait here. I'm gonna get us some food." And so the man walks off. Now Deku checks to see if the man is further away and starts to cry because he just lost his mom. Like, wouldn't that fuck with you? Like, seriously, the man, like, you lost your mom in front of you. Like, your mom just passed away. So yeah, I don't know about you, but I'd cry my eyes out. Like, losing my mom. Like, I love my mom. Like, man, I love my mom way too much. So yeah. Anyway, so a few minutes later, the man comes back with a gigantic ball, like huge, huge, huge ball. So the man says, "We'll be eating this for dinner." And Izuku, starts to wipe his tears. And the man sees this and says, "Look, kid, I know it said you lost your mom, yeah, but you have to get past that. Like I said, the world is unfair. The world won't care about your feelings. So if you don't want your loved ones, if you never want to lose your loved ones in front of you again, or the ones you hold dear, you have to get stronger. Since you can't use your quirk yet, then you have to train your body, your mind, and your soul." And so Deku wipes his tears and nods his head. And, well, we'll end it there and we cut to the police. And so the cops come and find Inko's, well, mangled body. And they look around and they see that they were camping here and they were attacked by a bear because the bear's corpse is by the still in the camp. And so they take it down to that she was attacked by, you know, a wild animal, the bear. And she calls, Mitsuki since Hisashi isn't around anymore, and Mitsuki was saved as, let me say, Mitsuki was saved as Inko's emergency contact. So she calls Mitsuki and tells Mitsuki about this. And Mitsuki is saddened by this and asks if the kid or her child is dead too. And the cops tell her that, "Ma'am, there is no child here. It's only the mother." And Mitsuki says, "Oh, okay." And they take it down as she was a wild animal attack and take down Izuki as missing. Well, let me say they searched for him, and first they searched for him for about 4 to 5 hours and couldn't find anything because Kojiro covered his tracks and didn't want to be followed. So they searched and they couldn't find him, and they chopped it up to missing. Izuku is missing or dead. Well, let me say they chopped it up to missing first, and they leave and they go off. Now we'll cut to the next day. Sorry about that. We cut to the next day, and Izuku wakes up and he finds the man is already outside training. Or let me say, since he's not a man, I'll just say he finds Kojiro outside training. And he looks at Izuku and says, "Oh, you're awake, sleepyhead. Now, come over here and let's start our training. And let's start training." And so Kojiro comes and says, "Okay, throw a punch." And Izuku throws a punch. Well, not a well balanced punch, but a punch, like how you throw a normal punch, an untrained punch, let me say. And so he throws a punch and he hits Kojiro and he says, "Good, do it again." He throws another punch and hits him. He says, "Again." Now, Deku starts thinking about that the bear that killed his mom. He keeps punching and punching and punching and punching until finally his arm is shrouded in a green light. A green light showing a squarish. Sorry about that. My dad just walked into the room. So where was I? Yeah. And Izuku keeps punching and punching and punching until his right arm, is shrouded in a green light, which shows a square pattern. Uh, like have you played Tetris before? Like yeah, like that. And a green light shrouds his arm, and there it is. His arm is in has taken the appearance of the bear's arm. Wait, let me show you. Hold it like this. So Deku's arm has turned into that of a bear, and he looks at it and says, "What is this?" And the man says, "Oh, I think that's your quirk, kid." And Izuku says, "Wait, why is my hand like this?" He says, "I don't know, kid, but it seems you have an animal-like quirk, kind of like me, but not at the same time. Anyway, let's see what you can do." And so I'm not gonna go into detail of what they do, but let me just say that Deku trains with Kojiro for the next 5 years, and the police chop it up to Deku's case as dead because they haven't seen any side of him. And so Deku has been training with Kojiro for about 5 years, and he's been doing like, you know, All Might's training, American Dream Plan or whatever the fuck his training was. Yeah, imagine that with Saitama's training, but not the 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats. Just like say a lesson version of that, like 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, you know, 5K, not 5K, 2.5K run, 2.5 kilometer run. Like yeah, but he increases the distance and he increases the number of push-ups, sit-ups, and squat he does, as he gets older. And so when Deku is now 10, Kojiro is now 18. And so Kojiro and Deku have become close. Like they have this sort of brother, little brother bond. Yeah. And so now Kojiro tells Deku that he is now ready for his true training. And Deku is shocked because he has been busting his ass for about 5 years. He's grueling training with Kojiro for about 5 years. And that was just the easy part. And so Deku asks like, okay, so what am I doing now? And Kojiro says, well, kid, you do know that there are quirked animals in this forest, right? He says, yeah, I know. And he says, okay, so now, so now you do know that there are quirked animals in this forest, right? And he's like, um, yeah, I know that. So now you are gonna have to fight those quirked animals. So you get a feel for combat, because all you've been doing is working out your physical body. And yeah, your physical body is getting better, but you do need combat experience. So you are going to train by fighting the beasts in this forest. It's like, oh, okay. And it says, now I'm going to give you a list of these animals that you have to go fight. Since you already have your bear arm, yeah, your bear arm, you should be able to use that bear's arm to your advantage, since the bear was big. It wasn't a small bear, like it was a big ass bear, like yeah. And so yeah, You have to go fight these animals. Like, you guys know Luffy's 2 year training, right? When he fought those gigantic ass animals in the forest, like Rayleigh's training. Like, exactly, that's how Deku's training for these next 2 years are going to be like. So Deku now is going to fight these list of animals. He's gonna fight a lion, a gorilla, a bull, a ram, and a centipede. And yeah, I know that a centipede wasn't part of Luffy's training, but I'm just saying that so I can give Deku his, new beast arms. Yeah. So let me show you the animals he's gonna fight. So yeah, these are the animals Deku's gonna fight. On the top left, there is a bull. Top right, there is a gorilla. Bottom left, there is a lion. And middle, there is a ram or a goat. And the bottom right, there's a centipede. So those are the animals Deku's gonna fight. And Deku's like, wait, are you gonna help me? And Kojo's like, no, kid, this is your fight, not my fight, your fight. So yeah, I'm giving you 2 years to beat these animals, and I'll be back. And so Kojiro leaves Deku, but he doesn't necessarily leave him. He's there just watching him, seeing how he'll progress. And so Deku says, "Oh, okay, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I've been training for 5 years with Mr. Kojiro-san, and I can do this. I can win." And so Deku sees that he goes into the forest looking for his first, well, target. And I'll say it's the centipede, the one on the bottom right. Yeah. And so Deku finds the centipede and says, "Okay, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this." And he shouts out. He starts screaming, a little battle cry, and runs up to the centipede. The centipede sees this and it dodges, moves, aside, and tries to attack Deku with its, body or tail. Because I don't know the different parts of a centipede, but yeah, attacks it with the back part, and it swipes Deku away. Deku hits a tree and he stands up and starts, yeah, breathing heavily and says, "Okay, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I cannot lose now." And we'll stop there, but for Deku's training. So for 2 years, Deku does this against all these animals you see here. And to make it easier, I'm just going to tell you what, Deku's, what the quirks of these animals are. So the bull has some sort of hardening quirk. It can turn its body into stone, or it can turn its body into iron, depending on, yeah, not depending on, like it can turn its body into stone and can turn its horns into iron, let me say. Yeah. And the lion, well, has a thick hide, like it has not a hardening quirk per se, but then we'll say that it can extend its claws and its fangs. The ram has the ability to control sand, but not to a high degree, but yeah. And the centipede, well, its hard skin makes it harder for people to, to break it, and it makes for a devastating, blunt attack. And the gorilla has some sort of, strength quirk. I'm gonna say a strength quirk. Yeah, and so Deku for 2 years fights these things. He doesn't kill them; he just fights them. And every time, he loses, he comes back the next day, tries again, and he does this for over, well, 2 years. And so this is what Kojiro looks like. Like, this is his appearance. He has the eagle hands, the wolf head, the black dreadlocks, the cigar, and the lizard tail, but you can't see that because of the picture. So yeah, I'm sorry for pausing so much. I just want to show you what. Yeah. So after 2 years, Deku now looks like this, but instead of the golden eyes, it's the red eyes. Or should I just leave him with the golden eyes? Yeah. Let me just say he has the golden eyes, the black hair, and where the red is, it's green tips, and he's like this. And where the chain is, it's actually two lockets, one that has a picture of Inko and one with a picture of him. And so Deku has now, is now 12 years old, and he is now unlocked his beast arm transformations, being the black bull from fighting the bull, the stone bull from still from the bull, the black bull, the iron bull still from the bull, the bear arm which he got at the beginning, and the jet black sword. And Deku, even after fighting all those beasts, he went after another beast, being a crocodile. And Deku fought the crocodile and won after using his jet black sword, which is the centipede arm, which I'm gonna call it. Like these names are the names from fairy tale, like the name of the beast arm transformation Elfman has. So I'm just finding a way to incorporate them into the My Hero world. So yeah, so Deku fights the crocodile, and he beats it. And so the crocodile acknowledges Deku's strength and you know bows down and walks away. Now Deku, like I said, has the beast arm Iron Bull, Black Bull, Stone Bull, Jet Black Sword, and now he has the reptile. And so I'll show you the pictures now. Um, we have this is Beast Arm Reptile, Beast Arm Stone Bull, um, yeah. So and Beast Arm Jet Black Sword. So yeah, those are the Beast Arm transformation Deku has, and Deku has given his Quirk's name as Beast Soul. And I know it's not, well, if it's not a good name, you can tell me, but I'll just use that name for now. He calls his Quirk Beast Soul. And after the 2 years, Kojiro comes back and says, "Oh, well, kid. Looks like you've gotten stronger." And says, "Yeah, no thanks to you." And he starts laughing. And Kojiro sees this and says, "Huh, you've gone cocky, kid. Let's see what you can do." And so Deku fights Kojiro. And let me just say, Kojiro is a fucking badass. Like, y'all can't tell me that this man couldn't have single-handedly taken on the whole of Class 1A. Like, have you ever seen anybody in My Hero Academia use a fucking hyper beam? I'm sorry for my cursing, but this man can use a hyper beam. Like, am I the only one who saw this? Like, this man was able to use a fucking hyper beam to try and attack students. Like, you can't get you can't get greater than that. Like, come on, man. Like, no, like, dog, like this man could have single-handedly taken on Class 1A, but that's neither here or there. And let's get back. I'm rambling, so let's get back onto the video. So yeah, Deku now fights Kojiro, and they fight for about 2 days straight. Cause now Deku, his training that he did for 5 years was to increase his durability, his strength, his endurance, and his reflexes. And so when Deku is fighting Kojiro, he thinks to himself that since I can turn my arm, my right arm into any part of a beast or animal I've touched or seen, why don't I try doing that to my whole body? And so Deku tries this, and he gets on all fours and says, full body takeover, beast soul, and turns into, well, the beast. And if you guys don't know what the beast is, it's the beast from Fairy Tale, like that red, big horned beast. Yeah. I'm sorry I don't have a picture of it, but I'll show you next part 3. So Deku turns into the beast, but he loses control because this is his first time ever doing a full body takeover. And Kojiro sees this and he's like, "Damn kid, stop!" Like he tells Izuku to stop. Like, "Kid, stop! What are you doing?" And Kojiro sees that he's lost control and he's going on a rampage. And so Kojiro enhances his, animal parts and starts to grow bigger as well. And he goes in to fight Deku. And so Kojiro fights with Deku for about another 5 to 6 hours, trying to stop him. And he finally calms down. He knocks him out after using the fucking hyper beam. Like, dude, that move was no, like, I'm going off track, but come on, like, he used the fucking hyper beam. How can I not be hype about that? Like, I'm sorry, as if you can see my excitement, I just watched the movie like about a week ago, and I'm still hyped up about it. So yeah. So Kojiro fights Deku, and he knocks him out. And he's like, "Damn, this kid is powerful." Like, I had to go full strength with him, and you know, Kojiro takes Deku back to the hideout. The cave behind the waterfall. And so Deku takes, not Deku, Kojiro takes him to behind the waterfall and places him down. About 2 hours later, Deku wakes up and he's like, Mr. Kojiro, what happened? And he says, well, I don't know what happened. You suddenly went on all fours and said full body takeover, and you turned into this gigantic beast I've never seen before. And so Deku's like, oh, uh, well, I don't remember that. It's like, yeah, kid, you made me. I had to go full power with you, kid. Like, kid, like that was that was scary. Like, you wiped up a quarter. Our battle wiped out a quarter of the forest. Luckily, no one was around and no animals were around. So, yeah, like, then I'm gonna have to keep that under wraps. Then, like, I'm gonna have to train even more. Then he says, yeah, kid, but it's good to see that, well, you've gotten stronger. And if you guys are wondering what happened to the, you know, the what happened to the powers of the goat and the lion, well, those will come into play later. Like, those will come into play later. So Deku now is, you know, is with Kojo and they're talking, and Kojo says, "Well, kid, I gotta go. Like, it's time for you to go back to, to society. Like, I've done everything I can to teach you." And Deku's like, "Oh, okay." And Deku says, "Well, will I ever see you again?" He says, "Yeah, kid, maybe." And Deku says goodbye to Kojo and he goes off. And as he's walking, he walks out of the forest. Well, no, he's not walking out of the forest, but he walks through the forest and he sees the BC fort. He sees the gorilla, the black bull, the ram, and the lion. The centipede, well, he killed. Like, no, that he killed. Like, that was his first, target. So he killed that. But the rest he didn't, because he had to come back and fight them over and over and over again. So they were harder to beat. And so he created a bond with them. So he couldn't, he didn't kill them. He sees them and he tells them, well, it's time for me to go home. Well, I'll see you guys later. and he keeps walking and looks back and starts to wave by. And the animals, they nod their heads and they go off deep into the forest. Now, but now Deku, he walks. He's now walking through the now walking through the city, and he goes home. When he gets home, he finds out that everything is still where it is. Like nothing's changed. Everything's where, and he starts to tear up a bit because he hasn't been here for the last 7 years. And well, if most of you are thinking, wait, 7 years, so is Deku still smart in this? Or yeah, Deku is still smart in this. Like nothing has changed. Like Kojiro knew that this kid will have to go back he has to go back to society sooner or later. So he said, okay, like I'll bring you books and everything so you can you know, catch up on your studies. Like, cause I can't have you being dumb. Like, no, like, you may have power, but like I say, you have to train your mind, your body, and your soul. And so Deku remembers that. And he's like, oh yeah, that transformation I took. Like, can I do it again? Like, but no, it's too dangerous. And he walks in, goes to his room, puts his stuff down, and he sits on his bed, crosses his leg, and he meditates. And as he's meditating, he sees a black door. And he walks through this door and he sees, you know, a book, like a pedestal with a book on it. And it says, Bestiary. Yeah, I'm bringing it in, like, yeah. And he looks in and he sees a picture of the animals he fought. He sees the bear, he sees the iron bull, the black bull, he sees the lion, he sees the crocodile, and he sees the centipede. And under them, he sees what the quirks were. Under the black bull, it's stone hardening and iron horn. Under the lion, it's, you know, elongated fangs and claws. Under the centipede, it's, hard armor or body armor. And under the crocodile is just scales. Like it hardens its, scales. So yeah, just most of these animals quirks were hardening quirks. So quirks. And the gorilla, it's, super strength. Now, Deku already has a shit ton of strength, durability, reflexes, and endurance because he wasn't slacking during these, 7 years of training. Like he had to train with Kojiro. Like if you guys seen the movie, you know how powerful this dude is. Like so, yeah, he had to train with him for the past 5 years, and 2 years he was training with the animals, the giant animals in the forest. And so now he turns the page and he sees a picture of Mr. Kojiro. He's like, wait, what? Then you realize that, oh, Mr. Kojiro's quirk is some sort of, beast quirk. Like, it's a mutation quirk. So he's also categorized as a beast. But then under it, it says, I'm just gonna call it hyper beam. Like, dude, like, he could control fire. Like, it was fire breath. Like, you see, this is where I'm bringing in Hisashi's quirk, like the fire breath. Like, Deku can use it, but then he can also, use it to he can condense it and turn it into the hyper beam. Like I'm giving it to him because like damn, like that attack was fire. Like I can't lie, like that attack was good. And so Deku says, oh, so I got Mr. Kojiro's quirk. He says, well, okay, but I'm going to say that he can't turn into Mr. Kojiro, but he can use his chimera aspect. Like a chimera is a mixture of different animals. So I'm going to use this aspect later in the videos, but you'll see. Like you'll see. And so then there's another pedestal, but then it says beast. He says, so this is the transformation I took. And he looks in it and it's blank. Just a picture of the transformation he took. Now think of the beast from, from fairy tale, like that beast. Like I'll show it to you guys next part, but for now, just if you can search for it and you'll see. So Deku stops, breaks his meditation is broken when the door opens and he snaps out of it and walks downstairs. As he's walking downstairs, he sees Mitsuki Bakugo. And Mitsuki is shocked because she still thinks that Deku is dead because that's what the report said, that Deku and Inko died in the forest while go camping. So Mitsuki runs over to Deku and hugs him and says, oh my god, Izuku, where have you been all this time? Like, where have you been? Like, how did you survive? And he says to Mitsuki that it's a long story and I don't want to talk about it because he doesn't want to talk about Mr. Kojiro because Mr. Kojiro told him that he is, on the run, like he's, you know, not liked by the public, so he can't tell Mitsuki about, Mr. Kojiro. And so Mitsuki says, okay, but that's fine, but you need to go to the hospital to check on you to see if you're okay. And so they go and they also go to the Quirk doctor, and the Quirk doctors, are shocked because they thought that Izuku would have a mixture of his mom and dad's quirk, but his quirk is totally different. And so Deku says that his quirk, he calls it Beast Soul, because he's able to take on the characteristics and appearance of animals he's met before, or seen before. Then they say okay, and they write it down as his quirk as Beast Soul. And Deku goes back home and tells Mitsuki that he's fine and he can take care of himself. So Mitsuki goes home and tells Bakugo that Izuku is still alive, and Bakugo doesn't remember Izuku because all he remembers is some kid that he used to bully for not having a quirk. And so Bakugo's like, don't know, don't care, and he walks off. And Bakugo then, not Bakugo, but Deku then goes back to his room, sits down, and meditates. He goes back into his mindscape and starts training. Like how it's like training in your mind, like when like training your mind, like when you fight, when you do those things. Like I'm not sure in which anime, but it's like how what is it? I'm not sure, but then you know what? Now forget about that. Deku isn't training his mind; he's just meditating to see if he can, control that form he took before. And so yeah, it's already reaching 40, and I'm tired, but I'm gonna leave it here. And in the next part, we'll discuss middle school, since Deku hasn't been around for most of life, so he has to go back to middle school at least to finish his education. So yeah, this has been the Fallen Saint, and you know I hope you liked the video, subscribe, and share. Tell your friends about me. Yeah, I hope you liked the video. See you in the next one.